You are listening to the Empowering Working Moms podcast, Real Talk with Dr. Prianca Naik, a show to help professional moms in survival mode to take hold of their lives and thrive. If you're ready to take powerful action to create your best life, then this is the show for you. I'm your host, Dr. Prianca Naik, board-certified internal medicine physician and certified life coach. Now let's get to it and dive in. You're listening to the Empowering Working Moms podcast, episode number 46. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so happy to be bringing this podcast episode for you today. Hope you're having an awesome day. And if you're driving your car right now, I hope you're driving safely. I have been enjoying the coming of spring and really connecting with those that I care about and really lining up my priorities as I want to live my life. But enough about me. That's boring. Let's move on to the topic of today. And if you are listening to this podcast, I'm assuming you're a high achieving type A mother. And that in and of itself is exhausting, right? So maybe you're struggling with exhaustion or burnout. You've checked all the boxes of success. You've worked so hard in your life, and yet you find yourself not satisfied, not happy. But you don't have to feel exhausted anymore. Imagine a life with no more burnout, more confidence, more peace of mind. And that really is possible for you because it has been for me and my clients. My client, Sarah, who's an OBGYN and mom of 3 small children, said, "Take the leap and invest in coaching with Prianca. Before working with her, I was struggling with balancing everything and feeling like I was drowning. After going through her program, I found balance in my career as a physician and as a mom to 3 young children. I was able to manage stress and anxiety with ease and found peace of mind. I learned to make my own decisions confidently, along with saying no to unnecessary projects and people pleasing." So that is just one testimonial from one of my lovely clients who came to me struggling probably with the same things you are. But with a little bit of work and not much time, you can be out of burnout and enjoying your life again, really in less than 90 days. Less time than it took me, I know, to get through my own exhaustion. Check out my free on-demand masterclass, 4 steps to overcome burnout, getting rid of overwhelm, and finally get your peace of mind back. The link will be in the show notes. So today I want to dive into meaningful mantras, really awareness and thinking about the way we think. That's sort of a strange sentence, thinking about the way we think, but really being aware, right? Being aware of how our brain works, the thoughts that we have, our intentionality in life, because having awareness and living a life with intention are truly key components of banishing burnout. And today I want to talk about sayings, quotes, etc. that I love so much. And I really try my best to live by them. And they come up often in coaching sessions with my clients. And I really thought that they would be useful for you to adapt or take the ones that you find resonate with you. And these sayings, mantras, quotes, etc., they really keep me grounded and give me so much peace, so much balance, stability when my brain wants to take over, be, I guess, kind of naughty and in a state of stress or anxiety, because that is really what our brains like to do. They like to stir up trouble. We've got old pathways, the default mode network, which is really just like the background brain noise. It goes on and on and on, and it depletes us of our precious and finite energy. So we can decide that we want to not give into that tendency. And one of the ways is to really ground ourselves with sayings, especially when shit hits the fan or life gets hard. And it does, regardless of what Instagram shows, regardless of what is on social media. The human experience can be tough at times. It can also be really beautiful. You can have a hard day, but you can still find joy. All right. So If you want to grab a pen and a sheet of paper to jot down any of the following sayings that resonate with you, I encourage you to do so. If you're not driving, or if you're driving, you can maybe listen later. So one of my favorite sayings is, I can do this. And this actually came up with one of my first business coaches. Shout out to Bonnie Koo. She came up with that thought for me in really starting my business, because at that time I had no idea what I was doing. And she and all my business coaches really have maintained a belief in me even when I didn't. But I remember that I can do this and I can do hard things, because I have. I have told this story before, but it took me so long to get into medical school. It took me, maybe not that long, but it took 3 years before I could beef up my resume to get into medical school. And I believed in myself at that time, and I knew I could do it. And I did. So this saying is so meaningful for me. And I really try and remember this when I'm doing something hard, or I'm dealing with something that stresses me out, or, it's unknown territory. Another one is, I am safe. I am okay. And this comes up a lot, because when something happens where we feel like we may have to deal with adversity, or there might be a confrontation, it depends on, your childhood, your background. We all have different triggers, but there are triggers that will make us feel unsteady or not safe. So really grounding yourself and breathing and saying to yourself, I am safe. I am okay, can be so helpful. Next, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. I'm pretty sure that's biblical. And this is so helpful when you're having a bad day, or you're having a bad moment. A bad moment doesn't equal a bad life, right? So you get to be human. You get to experience all the emotions, negative, positive, all of it. Good things, bad things happen. And when you're feeling off, or even in the depths of despair, and you're dealing with something really tough, just remember, nothing's permanent. The only thing in life that's permanent is change, and this too shall pass. I love that one, and I use it all the time. The next is Everything is Figure Outable, which is a book title of Marie Forleo. I did not make it through her whole book, but I love this so much, because everything really is figure outable. There's always a solution, even in the most complex problem. So remember that when something approaches you, you have a new problem, you don't know where to start, just give yourself peace of mind and remember that you will figure it out. I can find peace in any given moment. I can find peace in any given moment. And this actually came up with a lovely client of mine in a coaching session with her. And I offered to her that peace really comes from within. And in any given moment, no matter how hard, we can actually cultivate peace by grounding ourselves. We can focus on our breath, really tune into our mind-body connection, and be in the present moment and out of our heads and find peace. That is so powerful. In a world where we feel like there's so much we can't control, there is that we can create peace for ourselves whenever we want. This is my choice. So this is really helpful in realizing that you decide what you're doing in your life and you're not trapped. So even if you hate your job, this is your choice. It's a choice that you're there. You're not forced to. You could find another job. I'm sorry if that's harsh, but it is true. And I think realizing that we have so much more power than we own up to can help us to feel like we are living the life that we want. And if we're not, we can change our choices, and then that's our choice. I am doing my best. I am enough. This is enough. This is so important to keep in mind for all of you type A overachieving perfectionists out there, because often we get the messaging, or we have in our heads that nothing we do is good enough. Even if we're doing our best, that's not enough, and that's not true. So being able to relate to ourselves that we're doing our best, it is enough, is so restorative if you really practice believing that. Done is better than perfect. This is super useful in just doing something, getting a project done, doing something for your kids, let's say, and not going crazy, trying to make it 100% amazing. Okay. This really helps to remove the paralysis that can occur when we're trying to make something quote unquote perfect. Nothing has gone wrong. Nothing has gone wrong. So, really seeing this is particularly helpful in hardship, the hardships that you might be facing in your life or that you have faced. Nothing went wrong. It is all a part of this process, and life is a journey. And I'm sorry if I sound preachy, but it is a journey. And the sooner that we can see it that way, the faster we can remove our own resistance and suffering to the bad stuff that comes up. So, anything for me, the darkest times in my life, I know have brought me to where I am today. And without them, I wouldn't be who I am. And I'm so grateful for that, actually. Okay. So remember that nothing has gone wrong. It is a part of your journey, even when you're in pain. You probably can't see that, but eventually you can reflect on your past and see how it has shaped you and how much you learned. I am not perfect, nor are other people, and that is okay. Okay, so I don't want to spoil next week's episode, but I am going to talk about anti-perfectionism because being like trying to be perfect is really such a joy stealer. And when we can acknowledge that we are not perfect, we will never be because we're human, and that other people are not perfect because when other people make mistakes, let's say at work or maybe with your kids, some small mistake occurs, it can be very destabilizing in the sense that it can really shake you up and make you furious, right? But if you can remember that everyone makes mistakes, you can give yourself compassion for any mistakes or missteps or mishaps. And you can do that for other people too if you are practicing that for yourself. I cannot control anything outside of myself. I cannot control anything outside of myself. This is a fact of life that we really can only control ourselves. We can't control circumstances around us. We can't control other people. And it is probably one of the toughest realities to face when you're a type A working mom. I'm sure many of you would like to control your spouse, have that person, doing more errands, doing more around the house, helping more with the kids, whatever else. And unfortunately, you can't control other people. Okay. And the sooner that we can accept this almost devastating fact, right? Because we all just want everyone to be just like us. And honestly, though we kind of want that, the world would not be a very fun place if we were all the same. To preserve the uniqueness of the human species, that's just how it has to be. And the sooner we can accept that we cannot control anything outside ourselves, the better and the more inner peace we will have. I'm going to give you the next 3 together. So these are things I say to myself throughout the day. Here and now, there is a body rising and falling. And these are all mindfulness techniques, and they will help you to really hone in on the present moment. And what this helps do is get you out of your head and into your body so that you're not obsessing over whatever thought you have, any catastrophic thinking or catastrophization. It will really get you out of that. And that's why John Kabat-Zinn's famous book on mindfulness, I believe it's called Wherever You Go, There You Are, right? Because you go there and there you are in that moment. So here and now, there is a body or rising and falling as it relates to the breath, noticing the rising of the inhale and the falling of the exhale. So you can pick any of those to practice breathing, mindfulness, and get yourself out of your head. Because when we're up in our heads, when we're overanalyzing, when we're obsessing, we are stealing our own energy, we're depleting ourselves. And then when we don't have energy to give to the people that we care about, we beat ourselves up. So by being mindful and aware, we can really start to work on that with baby steps using any of those 3 sentences/mantras. Okay, this next one, this one's a tough one for me, but I'm going to share it with you. It is okay for me to rest. It's okay for me to rest. And along with that, the next one is I don't need to fill every single second with activities. So these two really are to highlight the importance of slowing down. We live in a really fast-paced world with technology like up our butts and social media and constantly texting and the phone and needing the phone even for time, or that people now have Apple Watches. And anyway, the point is that our brains are just constantly stimulated. And it is critical for us to take rest, take time, get enough sleep, take 10 minutes of doing nothing, maybe meditating, maybe just sitting there quietly reading. And we don't have to fill every single second with something. That giving our mind and our body some rest is really critical in energizing ourselves and enjoying our lives and not feeling burned out. I'm going to give you the next also in a triplet. So I love myself. I accept myself. I am always working on myself. So these are just to acknowledge that we're lovable. And I know many of my clients come to me, self-love is such a far cry from where they are. They can't even wrap their heads around it. And truly a fake it till you make it mentality is the way to go on that, and really just pretend to love yourself or ask yourself, what would I do if I love myself? And by doing that, you can truly learn to love yourself with time. And it doesn't even really take that long. You could fake it and within a few weeks find that you're really loving yourself. Same thing with accepting yourself as you are, imperfect, all the messiness, all of it, like really accepting that about yourself and being okay with it. And as we do that, we make ourselves more human. And then the great consequence of that is that our children can see that we're human. And then for them, it's okay to be human. And they're going to be more accepting of themselves and satisfied in their lives. And how beautiful is that the work we do has a ripple effect on them. I am an incredible mother. That's the next one. All right. I know you are doing a dope ass job. You are. You're an awesome mother. If you're listening to this, you're obviously working on yourself. You want to be better. And so you're a great mother. I am an incredible mother. Don't forget it, because we're so busy with the mom guilt and that we're not doing enough and we're working. But what about the fact that when we work, we're setting a great example for them of hard work and really making an impact in the world? Next one is people are good. This is a great one to remember because there are so many bad things happening in the world, of course, right? And news stories are horrifying and terrifying. But if you can remind yourself that there are good people out there, that people are good, you give yourself a more rose-colored lens of the world. And by doing that, you're not hurting yourself. You're not being naive. You get to experience life in a more positive light. Don't underestimate the power of what's available. And this one comes from my own coach. And I love this so much because it really shows us that anything is possible, that things can change, that there is so much available. There is abundance of love, relationships, friends, people, money, all of these wonderful things, okay? Do not underestimate that they're there. These are my mantras, the most popular ones for me. I love how I'm saying the most popular as if There are multiple people who look at this. But these were my top mantras, sayings, quotes that I wanted to share with you. I will quickly list them again before we wrap up the episode. I can do this. I am safe. I am okay. This too shall pass. Everything is figure outable. I can find peace in any given moment. This is my choice. I am doing my best. I am enough, and this is enough. Done is better than perfect. Nothing has gone wrong. I am not perfect, nor are other people, and that is okay. I cannot control anything outside of myself. What? It's true. Here and now, there is a body rising and falling. It is okay for me to rest. I don't need to fill every single second with activities. I love myself. I accept myself. I am always working on myself. I'm an incredible mother. People are good. And don't underestimate the power of what's available. And these will be available in the show notes. If you don't want to take notes, you can probably copy and paste them to yourself. So thanks for tuning into this episode. And you too, like me and my clients, can be out of burnout and enjoying your life again. Check out my free on-demand masterclass, 4 Steps to Overcoming Burnout, Getting Rid of Overwhelm, and Finally Getting Your Peace of Mind Back. Program.stresscleansemd.com/4-secrets to living a life you'll love podcast. Those all have dashes in them. The link will be in the show notes. You will learn steps to overcome burnout and about my program, Overcome Burnout for Good, in which you can be out of burnout and into joy, balance, and peace of mind in honestly less than 90 days, a lot faster than it took me because I have my streamlined process that I share with all of my clients. Link is in the show notes. And thank you so, so much for listening today. And I will talk to you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Empowering Working Moms podcast, Real Talk with Dr. Prianca Naik. If you are ready to get unstuck and out of survival mode to live your best life, I want to invite you to book a free 30-minute consultation call with me. To get started, visit priancanaikmdcoaching.as.me. Link in the show notes.